Hello and welcome to Popcorn Digest. And today we're welcoming Sharon Stone with open legs as we watch Basic Instinct 2. But is this a unfairly maligned sequel? Or is the only Basic Instinct these filmmakers should have listened to is the one that told them not to make the film?
I thought it would be fun.
Basic Instinct 2 takes us from the vibrant Vertigo-inspired colours of San Francisco to the toilet duck-inspired blues of London. Here, David Morrissey stars as Mr. Michael Douglas was busy.
Why the two of you go fuck yourselves? I'm out of here.
A therapist who soon finds his controlled world turned upside down by the insidious Trammell. Well, if Basic Instinct was the fuck of the century, then this belated sequel is the "I'm sorry, that doesn't usually happen" of the day.
Do you want to ruin my life, is that it?
Basic Instinct was a very successful and incredibly successful film, and they wanted to make a sequel to it from the moment that it released, essentially. From the moment that it climaxed all over audiences. People were clamoring for more. This wasn't just a one-night stand.
Yeah.
There's a lot more jokes like that in this episode, guys, so buckle in, or strap on, if you will.
Have you got any ice pick jokes?
Oh, you know what? I haven't, but let's get to the point. Hey!
You have something against ice cubes?
But yeah, so Basic Instinct 2, Andy, what did you think about this very, very blue... I mean, it is a blue movie in every sense.
Yeah.
I want that cunt in jail.
I mean, I know Michael Caton Jones is quoted as saying that he only took this film because he was completely broke and there were no other options for him. And he knew that the film was a poison chalice, but he took it anyway because he just needed the money.
Yeah.
That says everything, really, doesn't it? You can just sense that everyone just gave up.
Everybody but Sharon Stone.
In a way, she's the odd one out.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone else is in a different movie to her.
Mm-hmm.
It makes her stand out, but in the complete wrong way. Mm-hmm. She's still playing it like she's in a Paul Verhoeven movie, but no one else is playing it like that. So it really it's just a weird... It's like a narcoleptic film.
Come on, wake up.
It has all of the personality of a made-for-TV, ITV crime drama, and not one of the good ones.
Do you want to see my bum? Eh? Do you want to see my bum? You want to see my arse? That's it?
It's a very dull-looking film. And part of that reason is this is a film about people sitting around talking about sex.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct is about people hunting each other. Michael Douglas's character, Sharon Stone, they're playing a game of chess around each other and they're clearly trying to trap each other in various ways. And it's like each scene between them it's like a firecracker of a scene. Whereas this one is just like, it has all of the lazy blocking of a George Lucas Star Wars prequel. It goes from one scene of two people sat down talking motionless to another scene of two people sat down talking motionless to another scene of two people sat down talking motionless. It's the kind of thing as a director that you look at and go, okay, how do we get these characters moving? How do we make the scene more enjoyable to watch? There's no story being told with the camera. There's no like power play at work here. It's just your average shot, reverse shot. It's like basic coverage.
Why don't we schedule another meeting? And then we can talk about this when we're not so rushed.
You know, it's one of those films, it looks competent, but there's no flair to it.
It's like from shot to shot. It's not like you would point that out and say, oh, that's an awful, laughable composition here.
No.
One of the things, though, that I will say is particularly terrible is probably the script.
Yeah.
I want to just like repeat a line, one of the opening lines of the film that really explains just how bad this script is. So we have Stan Collymore in a car. He's been drugged. Catherine Trammell, Sharon Stone, is driving the car, which eventually leads to his death. And Stan Collymore says, "Guess what?" And she says, "What?" He says, "I can't move."
Guess what?
What?
I can't move.
And she says, "Well, you don't have to. You're in a car."
Yeah, well, you don't have to. You're in a car.
It's like, well, it's really like, oh, sparks between you here. I just thought, like, what's the wit in that? You don't have to. You're in a car.
Broom, broom.
That's really the worst line in the film, but there are a few like clunkers as it goes on.
There's some wonderful David Thewlis ones as well.
We haven't got a case for it.
Well, just fucking make one.
I think one of the very first lines he says, I wrote it down and ringed it and highlighted it because it's like it's wonderfully bad. And I think if this was in a Paul Verhoeven film, it would work fine. But it's when he says, "I want that cunt in jail."
Yeah.
The London setting, I don't think it works for the type of film they're trying to make, and also the type of character that Catherine Trammell is. She's a character that really belongs in a US environment. Obviously, the first one's set in San Francisco. It could probably easily work in LA or New York, somewhere like that.
You know, the thing is, I could say that if you want to even go out and make it a bit more exotic, you could go and set it in like Venice, set it in Italy somewhere.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't feel like London is exotic enough.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, they may even managed to make Soho look boring. The street that they shoot that particular part of the film in Soho, I've walked up there many, many times because it's the start of Berwick Street. So as soon as you get through that weird, seedy little bit, it used to be anyway, all the record shops were on Berwick Street. So I used to go up there loads. You know, it's really, really seedy, but it's very colourful. And they just completely failed to capture that.
You know, the thing is as well, like, I always think, when you have these types of scenes in films that are based in the likes of London, you know, when it's like, oh, the seedy underbelly of London. And I always think to myself, they're probably about 100 yards from a Greg's, wherever they are. You know, there's a Greg's bakery around that corner somewhere.
I feel like having a British cast and this setting, it's just not right for this kind of film. I don't think it works. And I don't think it works for the eroticism either, because the British don't really have... I mean, it would be better if it was set in Paris or somewhere like...
exactly,
Paris or Italy, where there's much more of a reputation for romanticism and eroticism. Britain, no. We're famously no sex, please, we're British. It doesn't work in the same way.
It's like perfectly described by Catherine Trammell in that scene. She kind of like has a very tense moment with David Morrissey's character, Dr. Glass. She describes his fantasies, and it's like, do you think about fucking me? And all this. Sorry, I said that really sexually then. Do you think about fucking me? But she then goes on to describe like the most vanilla sex ever. It's like, what is it? Am I on top? Are you on top? My face in the pillow? And I'm like, this is all just a bit like normal. You know?
We're talking missionary. Missionary.
Doggy.
Me on top of her.
It's that Garth Marenghi things. We did all of the positions.
They tried all the positions. On top, doggy, and normal.
I'm going to say this now. I'm a little bit disturbed that I saw David Morrissey's bum.
I'm disturbed. I said my Bauer and Wilkins headphones that I was wearing were not made to hear the sound of David Morrissey's balls slap against someone's ass.
Stop it.
He is so miscast in this role.
He's just not sexy.
Even at the time when it was first released, I'm like,
Yeah.
David Morrissey? In Basic Instinct 2?
Calm down. You're right. Like, David Morrissey feels incredibly miscast. And there's something that I would say about Basic Instinct. Like, Michael Douglas, he's not somebody that you look at and think, well, I don't, and think sexy. But he plays it sexy. He's got that charge to him. He's got that energy. He's matching Sharon Stone in every scene that they're in together kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's this, like, battle for... Not just like on a level of the characters battling it out, but it feels like almost the actors are kind of thing to see like who can dominate the scene.
Yeah, he's one of those actors who had that wild-eyed craziness to him.
Yeah.
I think the only other person for me that could have played that male leading role part in a film like this maybe would have been Mel Gibson back in the day.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Because they both have that kind of slightly unhinged quality that you need.
Yeah. Like, you don't know whether they're going to shag you or assault a female cop.
Yeah, and you've got this established character. Everyone really should be matching the style. And that's why it feels like she's in a completely different film to everyone else. The whole film was mismatched to that character.
But getting away with it. That was genius.
David Morrissey's practice is in the fucking gherkin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he may be a fairly successful psychoanalyst, but the fact that they're trying to frame him as being, oh, I want to get more successful. You've got to fucking practice in the fucking gherkin. If this was done nowadays, it would be in the Shard.
It is one of those ones where, like, it kind of, like, really pumps up these people in these roles. It's like, suddenly, I'm a psychoanalyst. Where do you work? And it should be like well, actually, I have this office just around the corner from Soho.
Yeah.
You know, I rent it from some Eastern European pimp, and it cost me $3,000 a week. For central London, and instead it's like, oh no, you work in the Gherkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do you work? It's like, oh, I've got an office in Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
I own one of the buildings. I'm a very successful psychoanalyst.
And when I was watching this with Jess last night, when it cut to Catherine's apartment, she was like, she lives in Bruce Wayne's apartment.
She does.
She's not worth it, Michael. People are dying, and I will have her for it. And if you stand in my way, I'll fucking have you as well. I can fucking promise you that.
To me, some of the only so bad it's good stuff comes from David Thewlis. He wins the award for funniest death scene ever because
it's between him and Marion Cotillard in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, but he literally, you know, the old saying, he croaked. He literally croaks when he dies. Yeah. Like that. It's magic.
It's like a child's idea of how someone dies.
Yeah,
you know,
I think you could. I think at that point, he probably didn't give a shit. It's like, no one's going to see this film. It doesn't matter. It's not going to harm my career.
Yeah.
I guess we're out of time for today.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of the show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you can catch the full-length podcasts both on our YouTube page and on any podcast hosting platform such as Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. See you soon.